We should be live.
All right, we will start our committee portion of the meeting. We'll start with curriculum and policy, and we'll start with the Hazel Reinhardt Consulting Services to do an enrollment projection population study, which is in our packet.
Yep, so I reached out to C11 superintendents with some experience in dealing with a consultant who does an enrollment or population study, and had a handful of leads. The only two that ended up being legitimate as a result of, in many cases, what the contact they gave me were a construction management firm or a construction consultative firm where they would engage and they would add that service if a district was doing like a referenda, right, around a school remodel or construction. And so they weren't standalone services, so there was a handful taken off the table in that regard. There was this Hazel Reinhardt Consulting, what she provided as a quote is $5,000 to conduct a comprehensive enrollment study. The next one was called MD Roffers, R-O-F-F-E-R-S, and their quote was $20,000. And so very quickly that didn't make the cut. And then the other one that I had heard from multiple districts was the UW Madison Population Lab. But some feedback that I had heard from colleagues was that it was good information but not specific enough. And so what we've settled on is this Hazel Reinhardt, who has done population studies for decades, and with the most reasonable cost of $5,000. The thought process is that that's been tossed around a bit by the board in terms of the goals and strategic plan with respect to identifying, facility needs, staffing needs, and so forth to the degree that you can with an enrollment study, and see what information she could develop. Yeah.
There's a lot in here with the proposal. Are you able to kind of at a high level talk about the process? Do you understand? I mean, not putting it down, but there's a lot in here. I read it.
Yeah, so to the degree what they do is they do their best at gathering basically publicly available data and then information, of course, that they can gather from multiple sources. So they're going to take information from statewide demographic trends. They're going to take information from neighboring state trends. They're going to take information from local. And I would be lying if I told you I know exactly how they do it and get into the nuance of developing this data. But it should be very specific to St. Croix Falls School District and what they anticipate seeing. And done in a manner that is as scientific as possible. So they're going to do their best to ensure the validity of the data. But clearly, I mean, I'll cite Hudson as the perfect example. In 2025, they're talking about closing schools. And I would be shocked if they had an enrollment projection done, say, 10 years ago or 20 years ago that said in 2025 you're going to be decreasing kids and closing schools. I'd just be stunned by that because they were on an upward trajectory for 20 years. And of course, based on available land and housing prices and jobs and all of these things, you can't possibly take every single variable into account to be completely accurate. So when you get an enrollment projection that casts out much further than, maybe 5 to 10 years, there's always going to be the asterisk to say this is based on what we believe is going to happen in terms of economic trends, the housing market, and so forth. And there can be things locally too that transpire that no human being would know. The perfect example is they will conduct a study of the area like new housing or opportunities at housing development. And I'll cite, what we had the city had just finished as a perfect example. So when you're doing that, if that's not even on the blip of any municipality in the school district, but 2 years later it is, that could bring more kids to the district, or there could be something that creates an issue that's unforeseeable that removes kids from the district. So it's going to be as accurate as humanly possible given all of the factors at play with respect to calculating demographics over a long term.
They noted on there were 8 pieces of data that they required from the district, and 6 of them really seem clearly district information, something we would easily have, but the number of housing units by type, by year built in the district, and then projected residential building units by type by year in the district, projecting forward.
Yep.
How will we know that? Is that data we can get our hands on?
I believe so. We work with my first contact in that regard will be the city administrator to see what they can do in terms of help. And then we can also work with Polk County with Polk County, because of course our district is all in Polk County, and they'll have some of those records, I would believe. And if we have to work with individual municipalities to gather that data, that's what we'll do.
Okay, and you're comfortable with
I'm,
putting that to somebody's plate?
Yes, because I think that, I mean, if it was, I think I would have gotten that feedback with respect to, be prepared, it's gonna be hard for you to dig up this kind of information. I would have heard that from some colleagues, and I know the St. Croix hasn't done a population study in recent history that I'm aware of, but it's conceivable. So, yeah, it'll be my problem, frankly, is what it comes down to, and we'll figure out who we need to contact to gather the data. And I would imagine they'll do some of the legwork too, if the contact information is provided, what resources to go to.
Sure.
Any other questions? So we're not voting on this tonight. I did go out, I Googled this, Hazel Reinhardt Consulting Services, to see like the Rosedale or Robbinsdale area schools. They've got a thing on their website about it, what they did. So there's some other information out there we should be able to find. If you want to see any more information, like I said, we're not voting on it tonight. But we do have the opportunity to look around at some of that kind of stuff too, to see if it's this is something that was one of our goals to probably help us project that population study. And this was it tied out to 10 years, right? Isn't that what they were forecasting? I thought I read that.
I believe that's accurate, yes.
Going back kind of 10 years and looking ahead 10 years. All right, hearing no more questions, we'll move on to the asset management policy.
So what you have attached there is policy 683 with a couple of noted changes as a result of feedback from our auditor and changes in the GASB accounting standards. So this is based on their recommendation that we increase the capital asset threshold from $5,000 to $10,000, but then also incorporate bulk purchase items that meet or exceed that $10,000 threshold. So you see very simple modifications where in red or bulk purchased is included after single, and then 5,000 is stricken and replaced with 10,000. And again, that's based on their advice and what the expectations are of the Government Accountability Standards Board, GSAB, something like that, with respect to our auditing standards. And unfortunately, or fortunately, what that means is things like bulk purchased Chromebooks, for example, which many districts such as ours are buying, that is now cataloged and capitalized in our capital asset plan, whereas before it did not have to be aggregated. So if you had $100, $200 Chromebooks, they counted as $200 Chromebooks, not $200,000 worth of stuff, or $20,000 worth of stuff. So.
And does that mean they have to be depreciated then?
Correct.
And how many years do they depreciate that? Is it 3?
I'm not sure. We would have to talk with Key Benefits, or who does our asset, capitalized asset depreciation. Do you know off the top of your head, Ray?
No, to be honest.
I don't know.
I'm just curious, because that gets harder. I mean, maybe even a 5-year life cycle on these things is pushing it, but
Right.
you hate to throw away stuff that is still being depreciated. But. Any other questions? All right, we'll move on to the 2018 GMC van.
Yeah, so I contact each one of you with respect to this, and it is the idea that we found a used van for purchase as a result of needing additional vehicles to transport, in particular special ed kids, and run special trips around. We also had sold a, what's it called now? It's got some cow or, I'm trying to think of the name of the van, of the bus that we sold. It's like, it's not Taurus, but that's the only thing that could come to mind. Gosh, almighty, whatever. What's that?
Like a Sprinter or something?
Yeah, well, no, it was like a special ed van, or bus, pardon me, that was sold, and it had a name. But it basically wasn't usable for us any longer. Of course it had a name, and it bothers me because I like saying it. It's funny that a bus was named out. Anyway, I'll get over it. So we sold this bus and made $26,000 on the sale of that bus. And that, of course, then will be applied to the total cost of this new used van purchase, which is $31,995. So the turnaround would be about $5,000 or $6,000 difference between what we got rid of to what we're buying. And we went ahead and made that purchase, or worked through that paperwork as a result of my contact with you and your collective affirmative agreement over the phone at least. So this is just making it official. And if Rita was here, she'd be able to tell us the name of that special ed bus.
Is it a Minotaur?
Minotaur, that's what it is. See, cow.
Well, okay.
Cow, half man. So there you go, it is a Minotaur. See, you can see why I wanted to say it. I don't know why I didn't name a bus a
Someone
Minotaur.
joins the live right now, they're gonna be like, what?
Exactly. Because the Minotaur, for those that don't know, lived in the labyrinth, right? And he would attack hapless victims in the labyrinth in ancient Greek mythology. And so I'm not sure why that's the name of the bus, but I think it's awesome. So there you go. Kirk's got it, Minotaur. That's gone. Minotaur's gone, we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Does this man have any?
Gypsy.
Yeah. Savannah, passenger van. Yeah.
So does this like did the bus have like the wheelchair lift and all that kind of stuff, or is that a different one that we have?
I'm not sure. I don't know that. Rita would know. All I know is that it was a no longer used special ed bus that we had to,
One I'm
It's
thinking
time
of
to
still
go.
drives by my house.
then that is absolutely not the one.
We had two of those buses, one we had a lot of issues with, I think that's the one that was removed.
Gotcha.
Burned out.
Yeah. So we still have another one.
Yep.
All right. So we will be voting on that in the regular meeting.
That is accurate.
Any other questions regarding the van? All right, we'll move on to the 25-26 budget update. There should be a piece of paper next to your.
That's
slides.
correct. So for a lot of reasons, there's a huge caveat that's applied to all of this information, and that is, thus far, we have conducted the third Friday in September pupil count, but we do not have our October 15th certification of state aid, nor our solid equalized property values at this time. And the pupil count is conducted, but we're still running through the numbers, because of course, we will officially set the levy at our October 27th meeting, when we have access to all of that information. So this is based on what we know now, and I give you the guarantee that it's going to be different come October 27th when we have that meeting, but generally it'll be in that same area. So this is expenditures only, and I have some details for you about what we're anticipating in terms of revenue. So basically, you have the last two fiscal years and what it looks like over time. Looking at the most recent previous fiscal year one, which would be just last year, we had $15,960,000 roughly in expenditures. And this year, based off of the anticipated budget, that's increased to $16,474,000. That's a difference of about $500,000. For reference sake, last year's revenue, it was approximately $16,281,000. And that would, of course, see a little bit of a structural deficit if those revenues didn't change. However, there is a 325 per pupil adjustment that's incorporated into this biennial budget, which equates to, based on, again, projected pupil count of 328,000. So once again, we're in the area where I'm going to say, when we ultimately have the budget before you, you'll see either a balanced budget, a slight surplus, or a slight deficit. The reason being is that we are currently working through what a change in health insurance would be. Health insurance, we always carve out kind of on its own, because first off, it straddles two of our school district fiscal years because our renewal is in January. And secondly, it is the highest spend we have in terms of insurances, of course. And so we've applied, I think it was an 8% increase. It sounds as though we're going to have a more favorable, an increase, but an increase that'll be less than 8% from the sounds of it, right now, which will be great. But we reap that, post January 1. So you do your best to run your calculation. As we've said before, we're going to overestimate expenditures to a degree in preliminary budgets and underestimate revenues. So based on all things as it stands, I think what this information tells you is that there isn't anything, I don't anticipate anything shocking happening, where we get the budget and we're like, oh my God, we're gonna have an extra $1 million to play with, or oh my God, we're gonna overspend our budget by $1 million. We're gonna be in the ballpark, and we're going to tighten these numbers up over the next couple of weeks as the state gives us the final pieces of data with respect to the equalized aid and property values and solidifying the pupil count. And then we'll come for you on October 27th with a pretty good budget at that time. And then, just like we say every year, that may change to a degree too. Keeping in mind that there's multiple things that happen that increase revenue, but then have equal expenditures on the backside. That ultimately gets reflected in the budget, but you may not know what those things are on the front end. So, grant associated things. You get a $40,000 grant for something and you spend $40,000, it's money in, money out, so you see expenditures and revenues increase in circumstances like that.
All right, any questions on the budget update? Well, great. All right, we'll move on to the regularly scheduled board meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call.
Matt Bryce. Tashina Rager.
Here.
Don Milky.
Here.
Ronnie Schuler.
Here.
Brent McCurdy.
Here. All right, we'll have Tashina read the mission statement and the rules of the meeting.
All right. The mission of the school district of St. Croix Falls is to provide a supportive, student-centered learning environment that cultivates character, fosters academic excellence, and embraces diversity. Board meeting rules. Focus on the main mission statements of the district, come prepared, be respectful of others and open accepting of ideas, actively participate, avoid side conversations, remember board meetings are open forum.
And thank you, Tashina. We'll move on to principal's comments. We'll start in the middle with Mr. Wallace.
Okay. We just wrapped up all of our STAR testing and identified students for additional RTI supports. Those contacts went out week before last, so we got those up and running. Our middle school student council has been fast at work. Tara's taken lead on that, and we've got lots of kids wanting to be involved in leadership from grade 6 on up. They started off with getting homecoming activities up and running at the middle school. It was a spirit-filled week, let's put it that way. And then lastly, we're kind of in the midst of getting all things ready for 5th grade camp, so making all those contacts and getting all the preparation done. So lots of fun things happening here in the middle school.
Very good, thank you. Ms. Platt.
We had our second fire drill of the year, and all went well with that. We started our Cares Kids program, and the student leaders are hard at work helping keep schools clean, safe, and happy. And as they tell me every day, I didn't have to write down one kid's name. Every day I tell them, writing down kids' name is not your job. They're out there on the patrol. We had Saint Spirit Night, our first family night of the year, and it was well attended. How many, I mean, would 250
There's a lot of
people? Yeah, it was
very, very, on my end of it, it was very fun.
super fun. Just nice to see everybody. We're making progress on moving a 3-year-old classroom over into the Dresser School building. We have one more inspection, and I'll let you know what happens with that one. And the 4K and K teachers just deserve a shout out for the amazing job they've done with the transition. It feels like it's always been the way it is, which is a sign that it was a smooth transition.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. I think that'll do it.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you. Mr. Wilson.
So Ms. Rose attended the District 1 WIA Athletic Directors meeting last week, and she brought Nevaeh Wachku with her, who is one of our state reps. And Nevaeh applied for this position and was a little apprehensive to start with, and she went from apprehension to now she's speaking to the entire group, so very cool. And Ms. Rose wears a dual role hat of representing her district, obviously, but also she's the vice president of WADA, which is pretty impressive. So Tara's doing a heck of a job and as busy as ever, as you can imagine. Had a recent conversation with Mr. Sandell, who is our long-term sub in the tech ed department, and he is definitely committed for our first semester of the year. He's happy to call it good at that point and go back into retirement. He's doing a phenomenal job, absolutely doing so many wonderful things, taking care of kids, taking care of equipment, you name it. So we've been very, very fortunate to be able to pull him in last minute like we've talked about. The position is now posted on weekend. It's due November 1st. I will work with Mr. Wallace and we'll pull the names and applicants off of that when November hits and look at hopefully interviewing mid-November to early December, somewhere in that range. Obviously Thanksgiving week makes it a little tricky, but hopefully we've got some candidates. I've reached out to the 3 UW schools and spread the word there as well. They do have student teachers in the midst right now that will hopefully be looking for jobs, so crossing our fingers on that. And I do have one other lead that popped up here today that I'm reaching out to as well. Let's see, last week, as Mr. Waltz said, was a spirited homecoming week. Last year we discussed doing it this early in the year and we weren't real sure about it, but after having it this early in the year, I'm a fan. It went really well. It was a great way to kick off the year. The energy was flying high. Football team dominated 36-0 in the rain, which was wonderful. Volleyball team dominated the night before. Like, it was just a really good week, very active. And if it wasn't busy enough, we also threw Club Rush into that week, which is, for those of you that aren't aware, all of our clubs and groups and organizations get to present to our freshmen and sophomores in the Fine Arts Center and talk about getting involved. And then they come out here and sign up into different clubs and groups. And then our juniors and seniors on the next day just get to hear about things again and sign up. What else? Desktop Publishing did their annual Jostens training. So Jostens provides us with the training to do our yearbook. They do a really, really nice job with the kids in getting them ready. Our yearbook is pretty impressive. Let's see, what am I missing? Oh, and then homecoming week ended with the dance on Saturday night.
No.
So that was a sweaty, hot, very busy evening. We had 202 tickets sold and 2 kids didn't show up. So we had 200 kids in the Commons. Like I said, sweating and creating a lot of body heat. It was cooking in that room. So, but it was right in.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended our homecoming week.
All right, very good. Superintendent's comments.
Well, I have a couple of things for you. The first is a mix of something that's awesome, but then a bit disappointing. It's awesome because, as you know, we have what would have been a National Blue Ribbon Award for our elementary school. And actually, when this did transpire, and St. Croix Falls Elementary has been recognized on a couple of different occasions with the DPI, nothing super public, but we've got some intel out on social media about it, and so this is not really a new development. But in the past, the U.S. Department of Education would recognize schools for high achieving schools and achievement gap closing schools. Those were 2 categories of recognition which made you a national blue ribbon school. And unfortunately, our U.S. Department of Education decided that we're going to discontinue the program, of course, the year that St. Croix Falls Elementary gets the award. And the reason it's a bit disconcerting is because, having been part of a district that received a blue ribbon at an elementary school in my past experience, the principal and a couple of reps from the school go to Washington, D.C., and there's a ceremony, and there's airtime and recognition, and it's super cool. And of course, there's some more festivities that you can do with the kids because of the national recognition. I think a national recognition has a different delineation than what just can be allowed at the state, because of course there's only, I can't remember the number, I think it's 12 schools nationally or something like that that are recognized. on an annual basis, and of course, there's a high number of schools in the nation. So it's a heck of an achievement, and it's disappointing that the U.S. Department of Ed decided that they were going to cancel the program. Instead of finishing it this year, the letter received on August 20, well, drafted or sent on August 29th, received in early September, says, the department hereby discontinues the national program, among some other things. And so the idea that you kind of midstream just say, yeah, forget it, you can just worry about it at the state level is a bit disappointing, because I don't think it gives the kind of recognition that the staff and the kids at St. Croix Falls Elementary deserve, to be honest with you. So a little bit disappointing, and I'll reserve any further comment aside from that, but the letter's right here if anybody's interested. I made some notes. Yeah, so we're gonna continue to recognize Rita and her crew at the elementary to the degree that we can. And I'm glad Rita didn't mention this, but just recently, then I can mention this. Rita and some staff members, well, Rita received an email from a parent who then forwarded it to staff members, which is of course appropriate. And it's entitled, Beginning of the School Year So Far. Good morning, Rita. I just wanted to reach out and express how impressed I am so far. Our kids love school, the kids and especially the teachers. I know they haven't been in long, but they have definitely flourished from being here. It's a new light we've never really saw in blank school we came from. It seems like the teachers let them express themselves and the kids come home with so many things to tell us. I just wanted to say I appreciate you and everything you've built here. That is a random, unsolicited, well, it wouldn't be random, I mean, of course it's pointed, but that is an unsolicited email that Rita received and then passed on to her staff members involved. And what I'll tell you is that in these jobs in particular, people do make comments about, hey, thank you, and you know, you do great work, particularly in this community. People are very supportive and happy. But to take the time as a person, as a parent of kids that has recently transitioned, and knowing that it's the, you know, whatever, the third or fourth week of school, whatever we're in now, and the kind of busy stuff that you have going, to take the time to put that in writing and ensure you do that outreach, I think is pretty cool. So, wanted to share that with you as a positive. It's really got absolutely nothing to do with me. But that's why I'm glad we didn't talk about it, because that concludes my comments. Thank you.
I would add that it was a lot of work to apply for the Blue Ribbon School. We're not so disappointed that we didn't, that it didn't happen, because frankly, we're comfortable with doing what we do because that's what we do, not because we want to get awards for it. But it was hours and hours and hours. I think I spent probably 40 hours compiling everything that needed to be compiled, and not cool government.
Well, you can have our blue ribbon from the school board too.
Yeah.
Where?
Well, I'll take you home.
You're gonna bring it next week?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Counting on it already.
All right, thank you. Board members, anybody have an opportunity to attend any trainings? We have one coming up in about a couple of weeks, remember, October?
Yeah, it's on our future, it is on October 15th, the Region 1 meeting at Layman's in Rice Lake. I know Brent said he wanted to go. Do we get Brent registered already, Lorraine, or not yet?
Not yet.
Anybody else want to attend?
As you're looking, I did that, I'll want to put a plug in for to start thinking about the WASB conference in January. That is third, right, something like that.
Pretty sure I put it in my calendar already, so let's figure it out.
I do plan.
Convention is January 20th through the 23rd.
While you're plugging it, I want to say I won't attend this year because I don't intend to run for my seat again next year. So I don't want to use the district's resources in that way, but phenomenal experience there. Always get cutting edge kind of research and information, as well as contacts and networking, and keeping speakers that are really light a fire for public education.
No, I always enjoy going too. If you can make it, all great.
Does anyone attend the fall conference that we also got information about?
I have, but it's been a long time. But it would be great if you wanted to.
That's the legislative
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the one at Stevens Point.
Yep. Stevens Point on November 8th.
Saturday.
Saturday.
All right, thanks for bringing that one up too. I lost my spot here. Public comments?
Yep.
We don't have any public comments, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion to approve the consent agenda.
A motion by Don,
I'll second.
second by Ronnie. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to curriculum and policy. Running my notes very good today. We'll review and vote on the updates to the staff handbook that were presented to us last meeting. I'll take a motion to do that.
I can make a motion to approve the staff handbook with the changes presented at our last meeting.
All right, we have a motion by Don, second by Tashina. Any further discussion?
I'll just mention that Tashina's phone number's been updated.
Yes, that was,
That change will be incorporated.
thank you.
We want people to be able to get a hold of you
Yes.
at 9 PM on a Sunday.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the updates, including the correction. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll vote on adding the student representative board report to the comment portion of the board
You
agenda.
gotta do early grad
Oh,
request
sorry.
first. Yep.
Right, so I'll take a motion to approve the early graduation requests. Again, those were presented to us at the last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the early grad requests as presented.
All right, thank you. We have a motion by Ronnie,
I'll second.
second by Tashina. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we'll move on to the student representative board report in the comments portion of the board agenda.
So I'll go ahead and make that motion to add that student representative board report to our comments portion of the board agenda.
We have a motion by Tashina,
I'll second.
second by Don. Any further discussion?
Your eyes are wide. Did anybody, were you here for that meeting?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We talked about it last
Okay.
time.
Yeah, it's last.
Good. I
And
was-
we will wait to implement like till November. We'll give her a little longer,
No.
okay? Does that work?
Yeah.
You wanna start right away? November? All right.
Also, we just want the student perspective.
Yeah.
Just the
Yeah,
adults.
you were probably the only other board member that had it before, right?
Yes, we've had one.
Yeah, very much appreciated.
Yeah, just having the excitement, like Mr. Wilson can say, we had Spirit Week, but we don't know what that meant from a kid's perspective. What are the rumors without kids getting enthusiasm? Miss that.
Yep. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go down and talk to the financial section and talk about the purchase of the 2018 GMC van that we discussed earlier. I'll take a motion to approve that. And again, that's a net change of about $5,000.
Yes, 5,500, I think, because they reduced the price of the van by another 500 that we purchased.
Some hard bargaining we did there, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of the 2018 GMC van.
We have a motion by Don,
Second.
second by Tashina. Any further discussion? Do a roll call vote.
Matt Bryce, Tashina Rager,
Yes.
Don Milky,
Yes.
Ronnie Schuler,
Yes.
Brent McCurdy.
Yes. Motion approved.
Will it have a name, Rita?
Oh,
The van.
we're wondering if
What's
it's gonna
the
be-
name of the name of the van?
Van number 6.
So you missed
Kid
it.
number 2?
You missed the fact that I couldn't remember Minotaur, but I really wanted to remember Minotaur.
We just got rid of the Minotaur.
Yes, and then Kirk helped us out.
Oh,
I could come up with that it's something cow related, that's all I could do.
I'm horrified to say I apologize for being late. I somehow thought our meetings were always at 5:30. When did you guys change it to 5:15?
We changed it from 5 to 5:15.
Weird, it must have been just recently,
A
right?
year.
Like, yeah, just last week.
They were 515, 100% of last year, that's.
And I'm pretty sure they were.
Yeah.
I really apologize, I'm sorry, I don't know what.
We assumed you misjudged the new commute.
Yeah.
It'll change next month.
We'll change next week.
All right, upcoming events, we have our next committee regular meeting at October 8th, then October 9th. Remember, the foundation, Star Foundation Bingo, I do have raffle tickets if anybody's interested. October 15th is the meeting that we talked about earlier, and that's the reminder, the last meeting in October is a Monday, the annual meeting, October 27th, and that starts at 5:30.
I knew it.
And then, of course, we have our November cadence, we potentially only have one meeting in November. All right, well, that's it. Sheena, you want to review the rules?
All right, so board meeting rules. We focused on the mission, vision statements of the district, came prepared, we were respectful of others, open accepting of ideas, we actively participated, avoided side conversations slightly, and we all remembered board meetings are open forum.
All right, thank you, Tashina. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ronnie,
I'll second.
second by Don. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.